mentioned creating your own path. What's the path that you want to create for yourself?
I want to get a message out and help other people while also building myself up and getting what I want.
That was good. Yeah. Happiness is what happens.
And that stuck with me even through challenging times that followed uh, being in the army, being an educator. When people didn't believe in me, I still was able to believe in myself because
5 years ago, I discovered podcasts and it changed my life because I started to listen to all these podcasts and start to hear all of this free information and all these fly on the wall conversations with these amazing people. And it literally changed who I am as a person. So
find that, whatever it is, that truth that aligns with us, that makes us feel good, and use that to ground us.
Wow, because life is going to come faster to those people who do that to credit.
So I just want to say, whoever's listening, thank you. Hey everyone, welcome to the Case by Casey podcast. I'm your host, Jethro Casey, and if you're a new listener, this podcast is all about uncovering the secrets to success, one case at a time. I'll be interviewing amazing guests to try and understand what it means to win and succeed in life. If you want to go faster, you go alone, but if you want to go further, we go together. So join me on trying to figure out the secrets to success. All right, so today's guest was raised in Queens, New York, and attended St. John's University. He majored in communications with a minor in broadcast journalism. Since graduating, he has worked in retail management, staffing and development, media relations for both college and professional sports teams, and experiential marketing for Nike and Google. For the newest chapter of his life, he has become a personal development coach and has created a boot camp designed to help young men reconnect with their inner selves, push their physical limits, and create plans and goals to achieve the life they want. I welcome Joshua Clouden to the show.
Jethro, man, that's a great intro. Thank you so much. Super excited to be on your podcast, bro. When we first met, you're like, yo, I got this idea. I want to drop a podcast. And I'm like, dope. And what I love is when people come to me with this idea that they have, and when that thing comes to life, man, like to be able to celebrate this moment, like this is big because we spoke about this before it existed. So I want to salute to you on like episode number 4 at this point. So big kudos, man, for just taking the idea and making it a reality, man. But super excited to be here.
And I want to say thank you, Josh. So for the people who don't know, Josh is one of my mentors. I actually got connected with, or Alexis connected us. Shout out Alexis. Very special, important person in both of our lives. So I really appreciate her. And I kind of want to start this podcast off discussing mental health awareness. Mental Health Awareness Month just passed. So the questions are going to be focused around that and success. So my first question to you is, 6 million males are affected by depression, and 40% of men won't speak to anyone about their mental health. Can you tell the listeners and I why you think men are so reluctant to seek help when it comes to their mental health?
Man, those numbers are always so out. Like when you put it into perspective, it's 60%. If there's 10 guys in a room, 6 of us are depressed. Right? That's what a case study means. And like, not to say every room is like that, but like that's how deep that number is in a room. And I really believe that it's a cycle. It's a sick cycle that we've been in with as just humans, right? Depending on wherever you come from, wherever your background is, your communication has come from parenting, whatever family structure you come from, right? So it's really been it's a generational thing of communication, and each generation, I believe, is empowered with breaking that cycle, because what that cycle is for us as males in particular is a cycle of not communicating our feelings, not expressing when we're upset. Just put your head down and go to work, or just man up and stop crying. And I think now we're seeing a shift in the culture where it's like, hey man, talk about it. You know what I mean? And I think that's really what our generation is about, because just one generation removed, like my father's generation, like therapy is unknown, like was unknown to him. Like, what do you need that for? Right. So I think it's just coming from, and that's my father. So coming from parenting is, I believe it's a cycle of just not being able to communicate our emotions.
So something that we're going to touch on is therapy. But before that, you have this concept of focusing on your body, mind, and your spirit. Could you tell us tell us why it's so important when battling mental health to focus on these specific issues?
Absolutely, man. And since you mentioned it, I think I'll start with spirit first, because that's really what helps me with my just attacking every day, right? So I'm really aligning my spirit, and that's respective and subjective to whoever it may be. Whatever you believe in, but having a belief system, I believe, is so important. Something that you use as a guideline, not necessarily as a rule book, but something as a guideline, as a boundary, to really like know where your spirit, we all have spirits, like whether you believe in God or not, like you have to know that there's something in you that like is a spirit, like that you want things, right? And I believe that we have to also want to find that, whatever it is, that truth that aligns with us, that makes us feel good, and use that to ground us. So spirit's so important. And then in my personal life, I realized how important it was. Just like my body and mind is really connected. So for me, for whatever reason, like I have a thing with weight, and like if I don't look the way that I want to look, I could easily slip into a feeling of not thinking I'm worthy, not thinking I deserve, not thinking that I should be in a room, not really feeling comfortable in a room. And so that goes to the mental, right? So body for me is looking the way you feel the most confident, the way you feel that you want to present yourself and you want to show up. So again, perspective and subjective to whoever, however that looks. For me, for you, it might be six pack and abs. For me, it might just be toned flat body. That's it. You know what I mean? But just find what that thing, that body image for yourself that you feel is important. And then mental, man, like just being able to communicate, to speak. Therapy is a great tool, but really like the reason why there's therapists is because our friends are also people struggling through the same things, and sometimes they're not the best people to rely on, but yet still relying on just communicating and exploring. What are you thinking? We go through, there's so many thoughts in a day. There's over 100,000 thoughts a day. And so at some point you got to sit down with those things and filter and move through. So the mental is also super important.
So before we so you're very high on therapy and the benefits that come with it. What are things that you learned and applied from therapy in your life that you are now reaping the benefits from?
Love that. Great question. Love that question. So I started therapy. I'm now 32, just turned 32 last week. And I started therapy, I would say when I was like 26. I just moved away from my family. I moved across country to LA, and I went for a job, and literally I worked there for like maybe 6 months. The job wasn't even working out for me personally. It didn't sit right. That's like a deeper thing, right? Like understanding like when things are working for you and when things aren't, and moving, right? And so they had layoffs, and then I didn't really know how to handle it, but like I was not looking for therapy. My roommate at the time, who went to St. John's graduate, Chris Simpson, he was at LMU getting his degree, his master's in counseling. And so he's like, hey, like we have a case study going on where we want to we have to meet with different people. So do you want to volunteer? And I was like, dude, honestly, I just lost my job. I'll go talk to someone. But that moment was my first time sitting with a stranger and opening up about what I was going through. And it changed my life for me to want this thing. I continuously wanted to have this outlet to be able to sift out my thoughts. From there, I realized everything's okay. From there, I realized what my next play was. From there, I realized what I really, really wanted to do. And because I saw the benefits in just one session of just me being allowed to express myself, I was like, I want this. So I've been in therapy for about 6 years now, on and off, because therapy is not like talk to anyone. It's like a relationship. You have to find a therapist that you enjoy. You have to find a therapist that is invested in you and the betterment of what you're trying to accomplish, whatever that may be. So you present your issue and you say, this is what I'm trying to work at. And you have to feel every day that this person actually cares. And so for me, what I learned is like, yo, like therapy is like dating. I've learned that. I need to share that, because as much as I want to promote that you should find a therapist, is you have to find the right one. Because if you don't find the right one, you won't feel comfortable enough to open up, and you won't be able to express yourself. And then what's the point? So that's what I've learned, right? And since then, I've done personal therapy for myself, and now I've been married for about 6 months, and we knew this off bat, like, like, yeah, we're great, and we love each other, and like for the most part, things are good, but we continuously want to get better at this thing. Right. And so like now I'm in couples therapy, and bro, it is amazing to go through it with your partner. So that's like for a later date, but like that's what therapy's done for me. It's something that's important for me, for my family, for the future, just for the future.
So first of all, I want to say congrats on being married. That's no small feat in life for sure. And you mentioned this concept of personal therapy. Can you describe to the audience what that is?
Yeah, so personal in that sense was just more so like one-to-one therapy for me as a versus couples therapy. I don't know if that's like the correct term for it, but what I mean is just more so I was just doing therapy for myself, one-on-one with a counselor, with a mental health specialist. You have to explore. Is it a male? Is it a female? Are you comfortable talking to a male? Are you comfortable talking to a female? It depends on the season of life. Are you talking about relationship issues? So maybe you might want to, maybe you might understand your partner's perspective if you talk to someone with opposite sex, right? So maybe that's something that you need to learn. So that's also something I learned as well. Like there was a lot more value when I switched my therapist from a male to a female in that season that I was in. So it's an interesting journey.
So many young adults are going through life alone. Can you talk about how important it is to have mentors or coaches who will help push you along the way?
I don't know. Most people have a mentor figure shape, whether it's someone of great deal or stature, or whether it's just a good big brother, just a good father, good uncle, just a good example, right? But that's all mentorship is. Good leadership, someone that is doing something that's working in life. You like it, you're attracted to it, and you want some of it, and you just learn from them. You pick their brain of what worked for them, and then you have to go apply it and take those tools and see which one you want to apply for yourself, right? Because not everything is for you, right? Like not every step that I took is going to get every single person to the same spot that I'm in. Like it's just no way. We're all unique. We all process things differently. So what's super, super dope, man, is just to get on the journey of discovering yourself and continuously figuring out like how best to be.
So as you grow older and in college, we hear about this term called networking. Can you tell us how networking has helped kind of shaped your life and through the friends that you've made, through the people that you met, where you didn't know that down the line it was going to help you? Could you tell about any of those situations?
Absolutely, man. And before I talk about networking, I just wanted to touch on mentorship and the importance. I forgot that portion, but like because we have all those great examples, we need to pull from them, take the tools that they have. But it's important because like how else will we accomplish the things we want to accomplish if we haven't seen it done before? If we don't know how that person got there. So mentorship is dope because it's nothing bigger than it sounds like a big word, but it's like, I actually wanted to start by saying like, I'm your mentor by title, but like, I believe that you and I are more like friends. We communicate, we talk, we just have conversations, we spit ideas, and we encourage each other to the goals of what we're trying to do. And that's all mentorship is at any level. Doesn't like I could be a respective lawnmower, right? But like if I'm invested in you, I can talk and we can speak life and I can just help you along the way. So mentorship is important, but networking, man, I would not have gotten anything out of college, anything. Not a single job, not a single opportunity, nothing without networking. I did not wake up ever one day and say, I'm going to fill out this application and shoot it in the wind. Like respect and kudos to those who got it. But like, here's a value in networking because I didn't have to do that because you first invest in people, right? Building those relationships. I'm invested in those who I meet, who I come in contact with. And when you do good by people, like you're in college right now, the people that you're going to graduate are going to go and do amazing things for this world. And it's like, I want to just support you to get to that point. We all have a purpose on this earth. I want to encourage the next man to get to that purpose, the next woman to get to that purpose. So when you accomplish it, you're going to achieve great things. So we're going around encouraging each other. And then next thing you know, in a couple of years, Jethro's the manager at Apple. and I need a job. And so I'm like, hey, Jethro, my friend from college who I've been in contact with, who I've invested in, who I've spoken to, who I know what's going on. It's not fake. It's not superficial. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be every month, but like the times that it is, it's genuine because of those interactions and the moments, bro. I've worked everywhere. Not to toot my horn, because I just told you, it wasn't me. It was my network. And so really the biggest thing in networking is like really investing in people, listening to what they're saying, understanding where they're at, right? I just think networking is so dope, but because of those benefits, man, I've had amazing jobs across almost every industry. And it's because of the people I've met and taking those relationships and valuing them. Valuing the people you come in contact with is what networking is.
That's amazing. And one thing I want to say is that a lot of people feel as if networking's a chore. And I think when you're coming into the mindset of talking to people with like, I have to go talk to this person or I have to meet this person. One thing I've realized just doing this podcast when I'm reaching out to people is that people are more than willing to kind of like help somebody, which is awesome. So, so it's just really cool because like a lot of people are scared and terrified and it happens to me too. But it's just all in your head, one thing. But so one thing that you did mention that I want to touch on is that you mentioned purpose. Can you tell me, or if you know this, what's your purpose on life and what do you believe you were put on there to do?
Man, I just got chills as you asked me that question. And not to get deep, right? But like it is as deep as this, right? Today's been a crazy day for me, right? Because my entire life, wow, my entire life, man. I want to pause this because I'm gonna like tear up because I'm just like, today's been crazy, man. My entire life, I've been seeking after purpose. I've been seeking after just what am I supposed to do here, man? Like I don't want to just aimlessly do things for myself. Just what? So I've also, as dope as networking has been, but I've been so hungry to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to do on this planet that I've tried everything, right? And today, like, networking. One of my friends from school who went to St. John's is actually my pastor here in Miami. Her name is Maniska Charles, an amazing leader, an amazing woman. And she just happens to be my pastor. Like, but like that's also beyond that. That was like my homie's cousin from high school basketball, networking, just being being invested. So here we are, bro, 20 something years later, and she's one of the pastors at the church, and I just want to serve. That's another big thing right now. Like, I just want to serve other people, bro. I want to encourage you. If you want to start a podcast, let's get it. When can we meet? When can we talk? What time works best? What do you want to talk about? Let's get it, because it costs me nothing, right? And I realize that. And like you said, it's so dope because people are willing to help. We just need more people willing to help. So my purpose is really to help people, right? Help people get to the places that they want to get. Just encourage people day by day. And what I was talking about today was like, today I was able to speak in front of my church and just kind of encourage them about like giving, but not giving money, but like giving up their time, like giving up their talent, their efforts, their wants. And because I know how important, I know the benefits, not important. I know the benefits of when you give, like because I've given and I've invested in others, bro, like I've never been without. Never been without. Like, are things sweet? Are things peachy? Ebbs and flows. You feel me? That's life. But I've never been without, because for me, it was always about bigger than myself. And so as I went today and I spoke and I just did like a 2 minute talk. And I really just sat down and downloaded with my family, my wife, my sister, and we was just talking about just like, yo, my life until this point. You feel me? My life until this point. And I just realized, bro, like I just want to help people. I just want to encourage people. I want people to feel what I feel. I want people to be happy in life. So many people are so hurt. So many people are hurt. So many people are lost. You feel me? I've never cried in an interview ever in my life. Like, but today was crazy, man. And yeah, man, that's it, bro. Just try to be a good person, bro. Because like, it's bigger than us. You feel me? It's bigger than us.
So first of all, I want to say thank you for opening up and being vulnerable. Because I know for a while, me and I know a lot of young adults and even people who are older still struggle with kind of figuring out what their purpose is. And I think if anybody's listening who doesn't know what their purpose is, I think a good first step is being kind, like how you're saying, just being a good person. Because I think that one that goes a long way, and I think you get a certain type of, there's no like appreciation or I guess better thing than when you genuinely help people and when you give and when you get things back. You know, it's awesome. So let's see.
Bro, let me like a t-shirt. Yeah. I've never cried anywhere publicly, man. This is wild. But like it's just a beautiful thing because as you ask about purpose, man, like I'm telling you, like I've been spending like the last like since I graduated college, G. Since I graduated college, all I've wanted was to know what my purpose is on earth. And it's really not bigger than finding a job that works for you, that feels good and that fulfills just like your monetary needs, your day-to-day needs. Like, does it work with the lifestyle you want? Is it the type of work that you want to do? Like, go explore that, go find that, go reach that, go attain that. That's for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, but like purpose is not in the job. It's not in the job. It's not in the bank account. It's not in the money, bro. You feel me? Like purpose is simply like, yo, like we're literally just here just to help humanity in the race. There's been so many shootings in the last month, so many innocent lives dead in the last month. And it's like, you don't see the world is hurting. You don't see people are dying. Kids are going to school because we graduate in a week, summertime, going to Disney. Nah. Right? So what is purpose, bro? It's just like, yo, like in a world where it's so evil, just be a good person because someone needs encouragement, right? Someone needs support. The feeling that you get back, bro, is these tears, bro. Like just pure, just like, I can't even explain it. Wow, it's bigger than me and it feels good. So yeah, man.
So something that a lot of people struggle with and with mental health awareness month just passing is anxiety. So how do you deal with anxiety when it begins to take over your life?
Man, something I'm actively, daily, today, working on. You gotta want to work. You gotta like. Let me take like another thing about purpose in life is like you want to work at this thing. You want to get better. When I get anxious, when I get out of character, I want to understand why I do it, what causes it, and how the hell I can stop it. That's what we're here to figure out, man. It's a game. Play the game, right? And so how do I deal with anxiety, bro? I'm like right now, I said today in my kitchen today to my wife, to my sister, like I'm trying to be more aware of when I'm uneasy, identify what the problem is, and then try to figure out, one, is it real or is it fiction? Remember, like how we said it's a facade talking to people. You think that they don't want to help you out. Who said that? Did they tell that to you? No, you made it up in your mind, right? So like, it's really just breaking through like the boundaries of your mind and figuring out like, yo, like, am I okay? Am I safe? It sounds crazy, but it's as crazy as this. Like, is it like how can I figure this out? Do I need 30 minutes to myself? What do I need right now? What am I feeling? I'm just like, how do I deal with anxiety? I'm getting curious as to why these things irk me, why these things bother me, why these things make me tick. I want to figure it out. Why, like when I'm late, I start, you feel me? Why when I'm on the clock, I'm running like a chicken out of head. I don't want to live like that no more. So let's figure out what works. Play the game.
So something that I do personally, and I think a lot of people who are successful and who are like self-aware, because I think that's really what you're talking about, being self-aware, reflecting, is one, meditation, and two, journaling. I'm just wondering if you do either of those personally.
Thank you for bringing me there. Those are the things that I try to wake up in the morning and I do just like a 10, 15 minute stretch, one for the body. Like these things are important. Like it's like, I don't know who is telling. And that's why like, I really like my purpose. I don't know who's telling us this. I'm 32. I got to stretch every day. I'm hurting. My body needs it. You feel me? But like, that's not passed down, especially in our culture, in our generation, in our world, in our society. For us, it's just, are you stretching? Right, we're not stretching, but that's important. The body needs it. How do you want to keep going every single day? So I try to make mindfulness, like I try to start my day intentionally by stretching out, slowing up before I start anything, just give myself a little stretch. Obviously spirit, like I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, like there's no shame in the game. That's what I stand in. I respect whatever everybody else stands in. But for me, I like to start my mornings with some prayer, some nice worship music, meditation music, just sounds that just are just peaceful. That's not talking about the trap. We can talk about the trap, but not 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm trying to really just get my mind in a mental state, in a peaceful state. I journal out my prayers, which is more so like me journaling out my thoughts. So I'm just expressing myself to God, and I'm just bringing it to him. But it is in reality, I'm just journaling, like in there's feelings of what I'm feeling. Like I'm not feeling like I need help with this. I'm struggling with that. I'm really happy about this. I'm grateful for that. But I'm just doing it in a form of communication with what for me was just my higher being, my God. And so I think it's important just to journal out your thoughts and express what you're feeling, get it on paper. And then in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, when things shift and change in your life, because life is about ebbs and flows, you circle back and you be like, yo, I was tweaking about a job interview, and now I'm getting promoted in 6 months. You feel me? Like things like that start to happen when you really start taking account of how you're feeling at one period and realizing and it helps you get to the next thing. You realize, yo, like, son, in 3 months, my life can change. In 2 weeks, in 1 day, my life can change. So these feelings that I'm feeling every single time, the next time it comes up, I can understand like, yo, the reality is this will pass. Because I journaled about it, I remember it. And for me, it's like, yo, I can go right back to it and be like, yo, like, that was like, yo, I don't even remember that. That was so quick. That was just a blimp. So next time you feel those feelings of anxiety of what's next and what should I be doing? It's like, yo, like, hold on. Last time it was a breeze. That's how I got through it, just like this. And so it's important to journal, get those thoughts out, man. So meditation, journaling, just taking time with self and understanding what you're feeling, what you're going through.
So I think one misconception that a lot of people have, and I used to have this and I still kind of do, is that I would say a lot of people put successful people on a pedestal of thinking they're not like me, they're different. Like they're not if they can do it, like I think a lot of people see successful people and think, oh, that's just, he was lucky, he was talented, he was this, he was that. But a lot of people still struggle with something about being in their own head. And one of your statements that I saw on Instagram is for people to get out of their own head. And can you explain why this is so important and why like so many people just get caught up in their own thoughts rather than just kind of like what you were saying, seeing like what the reality is?
The brain is the most powerful thing. It's so powerful. And unfortunately, just the way it's wired is that darkness is stronger than light, right? Like your dark thoughts are just always just going to overpower the light. Just that's how the game works. And so getting out of your head is just like, hey, understanding that like in your head, it's a fight to just remain balanced. It's a fight to remain positive. It's a fight to just get through the day. And so if you live in your head in a world where you're just creating things, there's no facts in your head. Right, like there's facts in here, but like what I'm trying to say is like in your head, there's some facts and there's a lot of other just made believe things. And so like you now have to do this thing of filtering out what's real and what's not. And so like, why stay up in a state, right? Instead of get out of your head and just do it. Why? You're not gonna, like most things, you're not gonna get hurt. You're gonna learn a valuable lesson. It's not about achieving things. Achieving things are great, but really it's about getting out of your head and being able to say, I can do this. I can shake this. I can be this. I can achieve this. Like I can do this. I'm gonna try this. Get out of your head and just try it. Get out of your head and just try the things that you're thinking about. Instead of, you can't accomplish nothing up there. After you process it all, to make something into a reality, you have to get out and go try. You must get up and take the wires and connect them and create electricity. You got to take the peanut butter and smash it, or the peanuts and smash it and make peanut butter. You have to try it. I have an idea. Go try it. That's it.
And for a while, I know a lot of people have great ideas of things that they want to do. For a while, for this podcast, I was thinking about months, like, oh, I have this an idea, and I was talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but I just never did. And then I got tired of feeling that way. I got tired of just being in my head. And one thing I think you said there is you have to take action. Nothing's gonna move unless you take action. I think that's something that a lot of people can't be afraid of, is failing and trying, because there's only lessons, there's no else. So. You mentioned this concept on social media behind the reasoning horses use blinders when racing. Can you explain the idea to the listeners and I?
Absolutely, man. It's one of my favorite references because I've actually, like, as much as I realize how important social media is, I've grown to really hate it. I use it currently where I'm at currently. I use it for networking and keeping in touch with my friends and people I've met. Like, that's important. I value that. So I use it as a communication tool. But I feel like over the years, what it's created is just more so a comparison. It subtly creates a realm where we just view things and we either envy them, we compare, we analyze, we want it, we glorify it. It's just for me, it's just a place where, like, if you're not being intentional with your time, anything can really just take over, So for me, I don't really love social media as much, but I think it's important to have blinders, in the sense that the reason why, like, horses have blinders is because you don't want to see what other people are doing. You don't need to see what other people are doing. That's not important. And so horses have blinders because they're race horses. They have one job: win the race. One job: compete at a high level. One job: go out there and run your best. One job: go try. That's their only job. So you put the blinders on, and now I can't see he's ahead of me. It doesn't matter, because you go in there and you do your job. And so for me, it's like, I know why I bring up social media is because, like, we can sit there for hours and just be like, wow, what an amazing life. Wow, he got a new job. Wow, they got a new house. And wow, the baby, the car, and this. And you look at yourself and you're like, yo, like, but I have nothing. And like, that could be a thing, or I want more. But whatever it is, you have to go out there and try to go get that. So put your blinders on and go get the things that you want, that make you happy, right? Because, like, you see in other people's stuff and like, do you actually want that? Do you want the life they have? It comes with this and that and the third. It requires this and that and the third. Do you want it? And the only way you're going to figure that out, because there's no right or wrong, is by trying. But put your blinders on, because you don't need to compare or measure up. It's about your efforts and what you can accomplish and what you learn. So it's a you thing, blinders.
So now I'm going to try something new. I went on social media after we just talked about how bad it is. And I 100% agree. So something, before I go into that, something that I've been doing is I set like a limit on my Instagram for like 30 minutes a day. And at first it started off as like an hour 30, an hour. And I realized I was on Instagram for like hours of a week, like 8 hours. I'm just like, I'm using this too much. So then if anybody's struggling with using social media too much, if you go on your iPhone, you could easily just set up a time limit. And at first it's hard, but then you realize that, one, it's not that bad. And two, I've actually been feeling happier, more in my thoughts. Because like you were mentioning, I'm not comparing my life to other people. So
we're happy for them. We're happy for everyone and what they're doing. That goes back to like because I know my intention is to encourage the next person, right? So you have to check yourself first. I'm here to encourage everybody. I want everybody to win. So I'm not looking from a place of comparison of like, yo, no, I want everyone to win. So I'm not saying social media, the wins are great. Everyone who wins, we're going to celebrate. But I just don't want, for myself, me personally, I don't want to get caught up in comparing your wins to my wins, because it's not really going well for me right now. And now I feel a lot more shitty about myself. And that's why the blinders are important. So I love how you just touched on that, because that's really what I thought about.
And something that I think people get confused about as well is that they think not everybody can win, that there's only a certain amount of winners. And something that Gary Vee talks about is, I think it's like something to do like New York and the skyscrapers. Like a lot of people, when they think of they have to build a new building, they have another goal that they want to achieve, that they have to tear somebody else's building down. And that's not true at all. You could definitely go through life building other people up along the way, and I think that's how it should be. So jumping into the questions that I got from Instagram, we were talking about blinders, and one thing I want to get into is this question says 3 factors that played a huge part in getting to where you are now. So what are kind of the things that you focused on, where you put your blinders on, that helped you, I guess, achieve your goals in life?
Figuring out why I'm here. That became a main focus. Not figuring out a job, not being attached to a job or a title. That's not for me, right? That's not why I'm here. I did not, we were not created to be a great teller at the bank. If you think that much of yourself, you know what I mean? Like, you have to think about that. Like, I'm not like that. Like, that's great, but I have to be created for more. There has to be more I can accomplish. So for me, it was like finding purpose outside of just like being attached to work, and just figuring out that really comes back to who are you. The second thing I would say, just remind me of the question one more time. I do this all the time.
3 factors that played a huge part in getting to where you are now.
The second thing is a great support system. Friends, family, people, anyone who is equally invested into your success as you are into theirs. People that you get along with, people that you can relate with, people that care about your well-being, right? That's important. So your support system and what you build in every season in life, that's when you go home. That's who you talk to about your issues. That's who's your partner. That is your relationship with you. I can't live in static. I can't live with tension in the family. I can't live with tension with people. So I have to make sure that, like, if even if we're uneasy, let's talk about it. So communicating with those people, you don't have to talk to everybody, but just the people that you're invested in. Support system is the second thing. And the third thing, man, is just, I don't know, man. I think, my faith. Absolutely, my faith. Just realizing that, like, I needed something. My body was craving more, right? Than money can give me, than fame can give me, than popularity. I wanted more than that. So I found that in my belief system, where I felt like this, like, we all have a need we want, right? And this was a need that I needed to satisfy. Like, I just needed more. And so my faith really became something. Like, I grew up in the church my entire life, and I dipped in my 20s because I was like, because there's politics in church. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying any of that. That's another topic, right? But what I knew was that what was most important was that I needed a relationship with God. So for me, it became a focus right around the same season of finding therapy. Oddly enough, when I was 26, I circled back and I was like, I'm alone now. Now it's not my parents saying, let's go to church on Sunday. Now it's me as a 26-year-old man living in LA, doing my thing. And I'm like, I want to go to church on Sundays, every Sunday. And so, like, it was finding my faith and really, like, locking in on that.
So another question is, what do you regret on your path to success, and something you advise others to be wary about?
I try to not live life with regrets, right? I think that's because there's no else. There are lessons. So, to be honest, I don't really go with that phrase. That's a me thing, because I don't really regret anything I've done. I've enjoyed my life to this point. It has not been perfect. There's been times where I did not want to live. There's been times where things were super hard, and there was times where everything was gravy. You feel me? But, like, I don't know, like, it's just, for me, I don't have any regrets because I learned a lesson in each one of those. And because I'm seeking for bigger, like, I realized that the lessons are in the things that we go through. And so my encouragement to anyone is don't live life with regrets. We're here to explore and try things. When we explore and try, we learn. Does it work or does it not work? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel uneasy? What was the outcome of this? Was it a positive outcome? Was it a negative? And we learned that. So I don't have a regret. What was the lesson? Let's not focus on the regret, because you focus on the regret, you're like, damn, I fucked up. I'm messed up. I'm this, I'm that. But it's none of that. It's just like, oh, I've learned that X plus Y equals Z. And every time you do X plus Y, it can equal Z. And that's it. No regrets, man. Just I'm curious in every lesson I go through. What am I going through right now? What am I feeling? What season am I in? I just came from a season of like transitioning of jobs. What being aware of the season you're in and figuring out what's the lesson that you need to take from this. Because I promise you, if you're living a life of like, I just want to encourage the next person, what you gain from that lesson is going to be valuable to the next person. And that's why we go through it, to help humanity.
So another question is, what's the most important risk you took in your life and why?
The biggest risk I took in my life was moving to LA. For a job, I had an intern in LA after I graduated college, and that was a brief stint, 6 months. But then I was again like around 20 at this time. I think 26 was a big year of my life, clearly. And it's crazy to show you like so much can happen in 6 years, right? But at 26, I was like, I was fed up with my job. I just wasn't happy. I needed to be in a new environment to explore myself and figure myself out. That's what that was, right? So sometimes you're gonna get uncomfortable in the season that you're in, and that's gonna push you to where you need to go next. You're gonna outgrow something. You're gonna get uncomfortable. You're gonna get pushed out. Something's gonna not work the same way it was working before, and you're gonna have to get pushed into. So I got pushed into like, yo, I just want to get out. And networking, I found network with somebody from school. I got a job out in LA. And for me, it was a risk because like I lived in Queens and I went to St. John's. I commuted, never moved out my family's crib. I've never been that far away for a lifetime decision. Like that was a big risk. And I can tell you what you get from that risk. You don't have to move across country to do this risk, but the risk is, yo, taking a chance on yourself, putting yourself in a place for you to survive on your own, for you to learn who you are on your own, away from the chatter of mom and dad, away from the siblings, away from the roommates, or if you have roommates, explore how you are with different people in different lives, but like just put yourself in a new environment so you can learn about yourself. That's the biggest risk. Being willing to take a chance on yourself and do the things that you want to do. I always wanted to live in LA for some reason. You know what I mean? And this company I always wanted to work for. So for me, it was like a risk, like, yo, I'm gonna take it because I wanted to do it.
So I just want to give a shout out to the people who sent those questions. Manny_Bucks, Brandon, and who's the other question? And Nolis.Augustine. So shout out to you guys for sending me some questions. And now towards the end of the podcast, before we get into the last few questions, I have one more question, and that's what are some of the goals that you're personally striving for at the moment?
Right now, I am striving for financial peace. I want to be in a state where my finances are not worried about. Do I want a lot of money? I'm not saying I don't. It's not about a lot of money. It's about being able to take care of my responsibilities without feeling tight. So that's budgeting. That's understanding where every dollar is going. That's managing your money. So I'm actively right now seeking financial peace. Why? Because I want to start a family, right? you talk about purpose. I realized also like, yo, looking for a dope job is dope. But when you realize that you want to be a father and you realize that what a father entails and it requires to take on the responsibility of taking another human life and putting them in this messed up world and showing them that like, yo, you can accomplish things, you can be things. That's giving me hope. So for me, man, it's it's just like, yo, like I'm realizing it's just a lot bigger than me. It's a lot bigger than the things that we think it is. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because one thing I know that that I want to do, regardless of anything in life, is I know that I want to be a dad and for sure have like a great family, be a family man, and all that. So I love to see that.
You're a great dad.
Appreciate that. So my final questions. These are questions I ask every single guest, and the first question is, what's your definition of success?
My definition of success is accomplishing the goals that you feel that you need to accomplish in your life. Not human standards, not a dollar amount, not status. Whatever Jethro wants to do, to accomplish, you want to be an amazing father in life, that's success. Being able to get to that spot, become a dad, be able to provide for your kids, give them opportunities that you didn't have, right? That's success, if that's one of your goals. So just whatever goal you have, you want to become an actor, just trying going to acting class, just being in that world, just attempting to do that, right? Success is not the destination. Success is literally trying the things that you want. That's what it looks like to me. A successful person is someone who's willing to take the risk on themselves and try different things that they see in there. Because I don't know what you want to be. I don't know what you want to accomplish. I don't know what you see that's bigger than you, right? It's different for everybody, but it's going to look different. And I just want you to accomplish that. That's what success is.
So before the last question, I just want to give you your flowers and tell you how much I seriously appreciate you coming on. This has been a great podcast so far. Very informative.
I can't say that too loud.
I appreciate
I've done a
that.
couple episodes. This has been great because this is what I'm passionate about. But continue, sorry.
Just want to give you your flowers and say you've been an amazing guest. I hope the listeners have gotten something out of it, if anything, because we talked about a few things. We talked about purpose. We talked about having a support system, and we talked about how important faith is. And I could tell faith is super important in your life, and for me personally, that's something I'm trying to work on. So I really just appreciate seeing people, and it's interesting because I don't want to get like super religious and all that, but
man. Yo, this is your platform, bro.
yeah.
No rules, no restrictions.
Yeah. So like I've been, I guess, trying to become more in tune with my faith, in tune with God, and it's just I've been seeing people who are like I've never used to see, I guess, people who are so like religious. I guess I wasn't putting myself in the right circles, but now that I'm trying to become, I guess, more closer to God, I'm seeing more and more people who are fitting that type of mold. So it's just interesting. And somebody said there's no coincidence in life, and that just all comes from God. So the second to last question is: let's say today is your last day on Earth. You have the world's attention. With all the experiences you had, the conflicts you face, and the lessons you learned, you were able to tell people two things. What would be your advice?
Yo, you're gonna be good. You're good. You're good. You're gonna be really good. Because I'm talking to everybody, you know what I mean, before I die, I got to think about it. We're here for two reasons, right? Multiple different reasons, but if I would start off like we're here for two reasons, and those two reasons was one, to treat other people literally, and it's gonna sound like crazy, right? But to treat other people the way you want to be treated. And if humanity could realize that, this place would be different. If I try to make people feel the way, like when you feel good and somebody makes you feel good, if I make people feel that, like just treat people the way they want to be treated, like it makes me feel good. I just think other people want to be treated the same way. Right? Like if someone cuts you off, like, don't cut somebody back off. Like, treat people the way you want to be treated. We get that concept. This place would be a better place. Try everything that you see in your brain, that you feel that you are curious enough to try it. Not to, I'm a dreamer. So I used to try things and see the goal, the finish line. And you know what that leads to? Disappointment. Because I had an expectation of who I was going to become or what I was going to do, what I was going to accomplish. That was not what I was supposed to do, man. I was just supposed to try it, learn the lessons at that moment, and apply it. So those are the two things, man. Treat others the way you want to be treated, and try the things that you feel led to try.
That's some great advice. I hope people take that advice and kind of shape into whatever they feel is best. But 100% the golden rule is important. And my last question to you is, where can people find you?
Man, I've been low right now, man. I'm in an interesting season. My socials are still active. But to speak on the season, like I'm in an interesting season because I'm realizing like something that gives me anxiety is like how I use my time. Right. So identifying that like with social media and engaging all the time, like really takes away time from just everything else that I have to do. It distracts me. This is that. And as much as I love and appreciate it, I just realized I have to figure out a healthy balance. So I've taken some time back from it. But other than that, you can find me on the socials It's Coach Cloud. I think the underscore is either before or after. But I'll tell you right now because it's been a little bit. Yeah, _1_ Coach Cloud, and on there is some content that I put out for my program. And really that's where I'm at. And I'm always here to talk. I'm always here to just like this is what I'm here to do. And once you figure out what you're here to do, bro, it's like whatever, you know what I mean? Like this is what I do. And so I just want to actually just really quickly just thank you, man, for just giving me the opportunity to speak. This has truly been like, I had a dream of starting a podcast years ago, and before the pandemic, and I ended up like not starting my own, but because like you try things, you start to try things, and I was able to get on with my buddy, and it was great exposure and experience I was able to try. But for me, like my idea, my concept was always to talk about mental health, success, and the issues. So it's so full circle for me in this moment right now to be able to sit here on your podcast and talk to you about that, because it's a beautiful thing. I'm so proud of you for trying. You have a great heart. You have a great head on your shoulders. You're going to be successful in literally everything you touch because of what your intentions are. And those are the benefits of being a good person, right? Like for some reason, shit just works out. You feel me? But for some reason, things work out. So continue being who you are authentically on this place. You have a place just by you doing this podcast. You already know that there's a need for people to hear about this, and or just be encouraged by something like this. And I would just encourage you as you're starting out this podcast. The beauty of the age that we live in social media is that when you put out content, it lives forever. So you start now, couple of views, couple of likes, couple of attraction, but one day somebody who needs it finds it, stumbles across it. It could be a year from now, it could be 2 years from now, but it's like, yo, wow, I came across your page and I circled back to all your content and it spoke to me and it helped me. So what you're doing isn't about the instant gratification, brother. It's about the journey of helping other people. So I want to salute you, bless this podcast, man, because this is going to touch other people's lives, and that's what it's all about.
Thank you, Joshua Clouden, everybody. 3, 2, 1, yeah. Thanks for listening to this episode of Case by Case. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to drop a like, follow, or rate on whatever platform you're listening on. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if you want to help others prepare for the path to success, don't forget to share this episode on social media so we can reach success together.